So, okay. So working, so the center of influence and the just listed is what objections were you referring to, Fonda?
I don't have any specific in mind.
Okay.
I'm just wanting to practice to have it in my head, the appropriate response, so that I can effectively get past the objection.
Well, it's not an objection then. Well, I can't help you with the objection unless I know what it is. In other words, if I knew what the objection was, then I could give you a response. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
I feel like the biggest objections I come across are people who, well, maybe we should go through the FSBO again. That's just
no, finish your thought.
I feel that a lot of them feel like they want to save the money on the commission. It's such a strong market, and they can make, that's a lot of money we're talking about.
Got it. You gave me the objection. I know, you gave me the objection. So you're talking about a for sale by owner, correct?
They usually will think about
So it was a yes or no question. Were you talking about for sale by owners?
Not necessarily already in that mindset, but yes.
Oh, okay. Got it. So
if
you're talking to people, so yeah. So why would I hire an agent when I can just sell it myself? Right. So if they're going to, number one, we never discuss the commission while we're trying to set an appointment. Right. We don't get into mathematical conversations. So if someone asks, how much do you charge? Or, we could save the commission. So the way you respond to that is, well, Vonda, it sounds like to me, you just want to net the most amount of money possible. Is that right? Yes. Okay, great. Well, that's exactly why we need to get together, so I can sit down, show you a plan how you can net the most amount of money. Won't that be great?
Okay, sure.
Which would be better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4?
All right, Monday at 4.
And you got it?
Now I'm sitting in front of them.
Oh, okay. Now don't worry about it. Present the plan. They wouldn't have gave you an appointment unless they were trying to list. So you just go in there and show. So look, Vonda, I don't need to tell you. You already know that maximum exposure is going to actually get you a higher sales price. But you know that information. So, and then I will give you maximum exposure. So at the very least, I will net you the same amount of money you would net yourself, or possibly more money. So if I can at least net you the same amount of money or more, wouldn't it make sense to just have me do it? So, and then here's another question I have for you, Vonda. Do you know if your homeowner's insurance will cover a mistake in a contract?
Oh, never thought of that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I have never thought.
Right. So, I mean, Vonda, you want someone who's going to offer you maximum exposure, negotiate on your behalf, and is insured against any problems. I mean, that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and sign the contract.
Okay.
So, you just have to have logical answers.
Right. Okay.
So
I like to go through detailed contracts. So I want to.
You like to talk too much and talk them out of. You like to talk too much and talk them out of signing it.
I've come across many people that are very detailed and they want every bit of every contract, and that's what gets them stumped. I have this issue in many different cases. So when they want to do that, of course, I guess how would you approach that? Say, well, let me sit here with you and we can go through this contract together. Is that how we would have that?
Yeah, you're talking about the listing contract?
Yes.
Yeah. You just go right through it. But you got to sell them first.
Right.
You got to handle their objections, then the contract, then you pull out the contract.
Okay. I like the homeowner's insurance one too. That's a great
point. That gets their mind turning, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So anyway, what else? But remember, never, ever, ever have a mathematical commission conversation while you're trying to set up an appointment. When you're on the phone, remember, you are in an appointment setting session. You're not in a commission negotiation session. Got it? We do not talk math on the phone. If they come back after you again, well, how much do you charge? Well, Vonda, of course you know commissions are negotiable in the state of Utah. So let's set an appointment. We'll get together. We'll work something out that works for both of us, okay?
Okay, great. And so when they ask, what do you think my house is worth?
Well,
What do you think you
of
should
course,
sell my house for?
I haven't seen everything and I haven't run the numbers on that. So let's do this. Let's go ahead, set an appointment. I'll bring all the information. We'll sit down together, go through the information. We'll decide together on what we think the most appropriate price would be.
Perfect.
Does that sound like something you want?
No, that sounds good.
Perfect. So that's it. Never, ever. And then find out what price they have in mind. So once you set an appointment, right? So, Vonda, and then you go right into the pre-qualifying the script, right? Once you set an appointment. So the pre-qual is where it's at, page 8, right? So page 8. So, Vonda, before I come out, there's a number of questions I need to ask you, okay?
Okay.
If what I say makes sense, and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out at 4?
Oh, we'll see.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home?
No, not really.
Okay. Perfect. So tell me again, where are you moving to?
Washington.
Are you moving to Washington? Was it Washington, D.C. or Washington State?
Washington State.
Oh, okay. So great. When I see you, how much do you want to list your home for?
890,000.
So 890,000. Okay. So Vonda, as a professional real estate agent, I study homes and prices every day. Therefore, I assume you'll list with me at a price that will cause your home to sell. Correct?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So what price won't you go below?
870,000.
Okay, 870. And you know, I actually forgot to ask how soon you have to be there.
Right.
So tell me again where you're moving to. So how soon do you have to be there?
3 months.
You're going to be there in 3 months. Okay, great. So then I'll skip back down to where we were. So, and Vonda, have you ever thought about selling it yourself?
So wait, let's go back up here to number 6.
Okay. Oh, yeah. How much do you owe on the property? Yeah, how much do you owe on the property?
Quite a bit of reluctancy with people wanting to answer that. Why does that matter? That's what they said. Why does that matter? How much do I owe on the property?
Right. Well, and Matt, the reason why I asked that question is because then it gives me an idea of different possibilities we could do to offer terms to your home. And here's the thing. Yeah, but if they're not answering questions for you, I mean, I just made that up on the fly. But if they're not answering questions, it usually means you're lacking rapport.
Okay.
And so it's important to get in rapport right away. And the way you do that is you match rates of speech, you match vowel inflections. We used to have an affirmation that says, I pick up on people's accents and use them ever so slightly in my speech patterns. So whoever's typing, that's coming through loud. So does that make sense? So you got to match your rate of speech. So if they talk fast, you talk fast. If they talk slow, you talk slow.
Okay.
So it's so when they're not answering questions, it's about rapport. So just go to the next question and try and get rapport.
Got it. Okay. And then we just move on to, have you ever thought about selling it?
Yeah.
And continue on. Yes, I have thought about selling it myself because I want to max the amount of money.
Right. So you want to maximize that. So you just want to net the most amount of money possible. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So will you help finance the home for the buyer, or do you want your cash out?
Oh, I need the cash out so I can buy my next home.
Okay. So you want the cash out. Great. So, and then you go into describing the house. We don't need to go there. Were you on the call? Yeah, were you on the call when I drilled down and went for the description of the house? Apparently not. So anyway, you know, I mean, it was pretty much, I spent probably 15, 20 minutes drilling down. I mean, I asked every question imaginable, and every time they gave me an answer, I followed up with like 3 or 4 more questions. So tell me about your kitchen. Oh, it's nice. Okay. So has it been updated? Yes. Okay. Have you replaced the cabinets? Well, no, we painted them. Okay. Have you replaced the counters? Yeah, we did that spray thing, you know. What about the floors? You know, what kind of floors do you have? Well, they're, you know, vinyl. And so, you know, I mean, they told you it was nice, but then when you ask specific questions, you know, they got painted cabinets sprayed on countertops with a vinyl floor. Well, I don't know about you, but that's not very nice. So
yeah, and I guess those are good questions to bring up because I've had people say basically, well, I just replaced all the carpet in the house.
Right.
And updated my kitchen. So, and then the way we updated it was like painting the boards. And
right, exactly. You got to get real specific, right? And so, you know, tell me about, so Vonda, would you describe the theme of your house neutral or more of a personal flair?
Oh, that's a good question.
So that's a question of saying, did you paint it stupid colors?
Right.
So, what are your thoughts, Amy? Any objections you'd like to talk about?
No, I agree. I mean, the more questions you can ask. I mean, sometimes
well, the more you know.
I even ask, you know, sometimes about their yard if it's something.
Well, exactly. I mean, I'll ask about pets. Hey, do you have pets? Yeah. What kind of pets do you have? Yeah. Okay. Well, how many? You know, do they live in a house or do they live in a yard? I mean, if they're yard dogs, the yard's probably tore up. If they're house dogs, then well, the house might be tore up. You know, you never know, right?
Right.
So then I ask about pets. You know, hey, is anybody in the home? Is it a smoking home or a non-smoking home? So, because now, you know, no, we got 3 dogs, 2 cats, and a gerbil, and we smoke. Okay, well, that house stinks, right? But now you know when you're doing your pricing, you know, you're going to know. So, and you should always know what price they have in mind. Never, ever, 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 ever go on a listing appointment without knowing what price they have in mind. And if they tell you they don't have a price in mind, they're lying. If they've owned the property, you know, if they purchased it and lived in it, they have a price in mind. Period. Now, because I'll even ask them point blank, and I'll do the dance with them. So, Vonda, you mean to tell me you bought this house 7 years ago, you've lived in that neighborhood for 7 years, and you've been thinking about selling your home, and you have no price in mind. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, you just got to call them out on it. Because here's the thing. If you're going on an appointment that you don't, and they won't tell you what price they have in mind, let me tell you what kind of appointment you're going on. You're going on an appointment where if you guess their price right, you may be able to have the listing. Right?
Right, because otherwise they're just holding back because they want to see if you're in the price range of what they really would like to get for it, not the realistic number they can get for it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You're playing a game, and when they're playing that game, usually their price is way over, usually. Because they've spoken to agents and gotten a realistic price, and they're not happy about that. So they're looking for somebody that wants to list it at their price. I'm not there to list it at their price. You got to have the attitude that I'm coming to see if I want the listing.
Okay, so let's handle the objection of, well, you know, still I think that eventually when the right buyer comes, they'll pay $890,000 for my home.
Okay.
And I'm not in a hurry to sell right now.
Okay.
I've gotten to like the end of the year.
You got to the end of the year.
That money. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a thought for you right now, Vonda. So right now, interest rates are historically low, right? There's rates out there like 3.25. So you realize if rates go up between now and the end of the year, you're actually going to net less money. Did you know that?
No, so how am I going to net less money? I'm locked into the same rate that I'm paying on my mortgage.
No, it's not about your rate. It's about the buyer's rate. See, when rates go down, right, so the buyer's fixed, the buyer qualifies at a monthly payment. Okay? So think of a teeter-totter, and on one end of the teeter-totter, you have interest rates, and the other one you have sales price, but the fulcrum in the middle is the monthly payment, right? That never changes. So as the interest rates go up, then that monthly payment buys less sales price. So as the interest rates go down, then the sales price can be a little higher for the same monthly payment. Does that make sense?
So we're looking at, for the buyer's side, on how much they can afford monthly payments.
Correct. It has nothing to do with your rate. It has to do with the buyer has to, their monthly payment.
Right, right.
So as the rates go down, the prices go up. Right now, we're at 3.25. So did you want to net more money now, or did you want to net less money later?
Oh, I'd rather net more money now.
Okay. Well, then all we need to do now is simply sign the contract. That way I can net you more money, and that way you can get to Washington. Won't that be great? Now, but the other side of that is you told me you had 3 months. So, but it's all about, that's why we ask the questions up front. Where are you moving to? How soon do you have to be there? If they're not motivated, then you don't even want the listing.
Right.
Remember your Australian people? They weren't motivated. And what did they do? They wasted more time than anybody I've ever seen.
I know. They called my husband again to have him work on their other house here.
Did they? Yeah, I'd be careful with them.
Ready to renovate their other one.
So, but it's all about motivation, right? In other words, motivated people take action. Remember that statement. Motivated people take action. So if they're not motivated, they're not going to take the actions required to get the home sold. Remember, moving is a royal pain, right? So the pain of not moving has to exceed the pain of moving. If that's not true, they're not going to move. People don't sit around and go, what do you want to do this weekend, hon? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't have any plans. Well, hey, why don't we pack our crap and move? So they don't do that unless
if they're already
there's got to be
selling.
right. Right. Well, you got to find out what that is.
Right.
So when they're telling you they're not in a hurry, so then the other, so here's when somebody says, well, I'm not in a hurry. So then I double check that, right? I never take their answers up front. I take sometimes, not that I don't not believe them, but I double check their answers. Well, we're not in a hurry. Okay, well, let me ask you this, Monda. So if I had a buyer that was willing to pay you what you wanted, but they needed to close in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, that could work, couldn't it?
Okay.
And if they say yes, well, then there went your I'm not in a hurry theory.
Right.
So you have to double check everything they say. And the way you check that is with almost like an opposite question. Just the way you check math, right? So visualize math. You put a 1, and then below the 1, you put a plus sign and a 1. And then below that, you draw the line, and it equals 2, right? So 1 plus 1 equals 2. Well, the way you check it is you go backwards. 2 minus 1 equals 1. That's how you check your math. Well, we're not in a hurry. Well, I'm going to check that math. So in other words, if I had a buyer that was willing to pay you what you wanted, but they needed to close in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, that could work, couldn't it? So if they say, yeah, that'll work, well, then the whole, you just double checked they're not in a hurry and it didn't add up. But you don't challenge them on it. Say, well, I thought you said you weren't in a hurry. I mean, then you're wrong there.
Yeah, just move on to, well, then let's sign the contract and let's go on.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's just answer the question. Remember, an objection is simply an unanswered question in the mind of a prospect. It's just that simple. Answer it, move on. Just answer it, move on. So, I mean, that's just how it is. It's just real simple. Just ask the next question.
Got it.
So I hope that was helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because we got to get going.
Okay.
So,
just one more quick question. What are your thoughts if, so I've probably got to go to Florida for a family medical emergency thing, and I kind of want to just practice making calls, but I wouldn't be here to, obviously, to set a meeting, but I want to practice making calls.
Well, make calls. Do you have I mean, are you going there indefinitely?
No, of course not. But it could be a few weeks.
Oh, well, then you don't know. So call and, if you got an appointment, then that's a problem we'll deal with.
Okay.
If it's Park City, you call Barb and say, Barb, I set an appointment.
Okay.
But you need to have the answer to all those questions on the pre-qual script.
Right. So that's a
you
good, then I definitely need to follow up with the details on the house and just ask all those questions so I can really get a picture of what it looks like if it looks like a prospect.
Right. You got to ask you should go back and listen to the call I did. They're labeled. So we're working, we're working on the site. So we've had some delays and stuff. So, anyway, we're working on the site so that where it's easier to find things, but that hasn't happened yet. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much.
See ya.
All right. Bye.